If your e-commerce store is making between 30 and 80k a month, but you're still doing everything, like replying to emails at dinner, chasing suppliers at the end of the day, and fighting fires all day, then this is for you. I've built a £1.3 million e-commerce brand, and I run that in under an hour a day. And that's because I've been able to systemize and step back. So in this video, I'll walk you through the 3-step framework that I use with private clients to go from stressed operator to in-control owner. Let's get into it. So my name is James Eardley. I've got this slides up that we can go through together so I can walk you right through this framework. Because let me be clear, the problem is that the business isn't making money. The problem is that you now can't scale because everything still relies on you. So I know this because working with other e-commerce founders, to get to that next level of business, you need to be able to step away and move yourself away from being the bottleneck so that the business can scale. Because the pattern is always the same once you get to this level of business. You could grow faster, but your back end and your systems can't keep up. Therefore, you're stuck firefighting, and it's often because you don't trust anyone to take over or you don't think anyone can do a good job. So does that sound familiar for you? So let me walk you right through this. This framework is called the Let Go to Level Up framework that I've created, and it's the exact 3-step process that I use to help e-commerce owners reclaim their time and grow without the stress. You can either do this yourself, or I can help you and do this all for you. But let me just walk you through stuff to start with, the exact process that not only do I help people do this for their own business, but the process that I had to go through myself to stop myself from doing everything in my own e-commerce business to the point where I could increase the ad spend, triple my revenue within a few months after implementing this, and not looking back ever since, because now I'm out of the day-to-day operations. So let's get into this. Step 1, before you can bring anyone in or put systems in, we need to first of all be able to let go. So step 1, this whole phase is about letting go. And that's about removing yourself from the chaos. And it feels like letting go because when you build a business, you've got such a tight grip of it. It's like your baby that you don't want to let go of, but you have to let go in order to allow that baby to flourish. It's like holding on to your children, like being an overprotective parent. If you can't let go of your children when they grow up, then you'll actually hamper them from growing. It's exactly the same as with your business. Because right now, you're probably across every task as you have to be as a new founder. You're doing customer service, order fulfillment, all the other admin, taking phone calls, marketing, and no wonder you're feeling overwhelmed. It's not because you're bad at business, it's because you're still trying to run every part of the business on your own. So here's what we do in this first step. We need to start by tracking 3 days of your time. So get very intentional and understand where your time is being spent. So track 3 days of time, hour by hour. When I did this, I couldn't believe how much clearer I was about where my time was being spent. If you want to know where you're heading in the future in terms of growth, just look at your calendar and look at where your bank account is being spent. And the best way to get really intentional with these types of things is to start tracking it. So let's just start tracking by looking at the tasks you're doing, by task dumping, all of these tasks that you're doing over a course of 3 days, and do it hour by hour. So just task dump, it's called. Make a really messy list of everything that's on your plate. And then from that, we're going to highlight some certain tasks within that list that we want to identify that we should be working on first. So on that list, what is not worth your time and what can be deleted or batched together. So things that can be deleted are things that are just not helping the business grow at all. And it's like an old process that's a legacy process that is now redundant, but you're still doing it and you should really just get rid of it. Something that's not worth your time, that would be something that we could process or outsource, because if it's not worth your time as the owner, then you shouldn't be doing it. So great examples of this is actually answering every single customer phone call is not worth your time as the owner, because that's handling customers one at a time. Whereas as the owner, you should be looking at your business handles all of your customers. So from that, you can see where there's a missing process and you can highlight what needs to be outsourced. If it doesn't move the needle or drive sales, then it's not your job. This step is no doubt the most painful step, but it's also the most freeing. And I remember doing this and realizing that on my to-do list, there was a whole host of tasks that I actually quite enjoyed doing, but I really shouldn't be doing as the owner. So I enjoyed fulfilling orders. When I received an order through the Shopify store, I liked the process of giving it to suppliers and paying for it and getting that satisfaction of having an order fulfilled. But I realized that I shouldn't be doing that as the owner. So understand that there may be some painful tasks that you have to give away, but it's the most freeing step. If you want me to provide you with the resources and this full guide, this Miro board that I'm going through today, just send me an Instagram message, send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll send you the resource, send you the Miro board, and I'll send you a load of other SOPs as well. Whatever you need, I can help you out through just messaging me on Instagram. So that is step 1. On now to step 2. Now that we've understood that there are some tasks on our list, we've got a task dump, we've started to highlight the ones that need to be outsourced and worked on first. We're now going to get clarity to see what we can do to get our time back and get our control back of the business. So this step, it's all about now systemizing the chaos that we've identified. So from the processes that you've identified that you're doing, or the tasks that you've identified that you're doing, we need to start collecting those tasks and putting them into SOPs. So an SOP is a standard operating procedure, and it's the way that your business does a task, basically, to boil it right down to the basics. So for example, if you've identified on your on your task list that you needed to send the tracking number to a customer or put the tracking number into Shopify, that is part of a wider order fulfillment process. And so that is a bullet point step on a process for how to fulfill an order. So every single one of your tasks, we need to understand, is part of an SOP. So we need to start to identify how those tasks all fit together and start putting them into bullet point lists. The easiest way that I found to do this is to record yourself doing work using Loom. So Loom is a screen share recording, but you can also have your face on screen like I have here. And this is the tool that I use. But basically, when you use Loom, you can narrate over what you're doing. So you can easily put together SOPs for your future VAs. And it means that your business can become much more systemized. So start off simply by doing the process start to finish. And then once you've used Loom, you can use the transcript and you can turn that Loom video into a checklist. So if you record it all in Loom, you can then use the transcript, copy the transcript, send it to ChatGPT and ask it to put it into an SOP document, and it will create the SOP checklist, and you can copy and paste that and put that into a Google Doc in your Google Drive, and now you've got a video and a checklist, so that task can be outsourced. Then once you've got your SOPs in place for all of the tasks that you've identified you want to outsource, we're then looking to hire VAs to cover the back end of the business. So that includes customer service, order fulfillment, and all the other admin tasks that you'll be doing. So hiring VAs is a whole separate thing in itself, which I've got videos on my channel all about. But we need to bring people in so that you are removed as being the bottleneck to doing all these tasks. And because you've done the SOP, because you've done the Loom video, you can just give that straight to the VAs that you bring on, and they'll be very quick to pick up the tasks that you need to do. And something that's amazing about VAs that I realized is when I had done all these SOPs, when I brought on a new VA, she said this to me after her first weekend. And she said that she felt like she had spent the weekend with me because she had watched that many Loom videos, that many SOP videos to get used to how the business works, because I had a library of a library, something similar to this, my Loom video library. I had something like this ready to go. And she felt like she spent the weekend with me through watching all those. It's incredible. But just to clarify, things that might be going through your mind right now, you might not feel like you're good at systems. You might feel like you're not that organized. So the easiest way to approach this is with the framework that I'm giving you here. You don't need to be super organized. You just need to write down the tasks that you're doing, identify the ones that don't need your direct involvement, and start recording yourself doing it. And with that recording, you can turn that into an SOP, save that into a folder, and you've got, your business is starting to be process driven and you're ready to outsource it. The reason I've been able to do this, and I've been able to put a system in place, an SOP for every single task within my e-commerce businesses, is because I was able to take a step back, look at the tasks I was doing, and create SOPs. That's what it takes. It takes some time, and it takes being proactive rather than just reacting to the day-to-day, but the payoff is absolutely massive. And once you've done that, you'll have clarity over how we're going to outsource the tasks, and suddenly your business is going to start moving from being this unorganized, chaotic business where this is how you run the business every day, jumping from task to task, to a nice linear business that can scale and grow and go up on a graph like that, because you understand how to systemize your business. Moving on then. Step 3, the final step of the 3-step framework, of the Let Go to Level Up framework. Now that we've understood the task we need to outsource and we know how to systemize it, we're now going to be able to level up. So this is the exciting part, because now we're out of the weeds. We've delegated the noisy jobs, and your job now as an owner is to lead the business. So these are the tasks that you should actually be focusing on. Really, you should just be tracking performance through the KPIs that you've identified are super important for your business. So for e-commerce, that'll be the ROAS on your ads, it'll be the lifetime value of your customers, it'll be the gross profit from your suppliers for every order, and it'll be really knowing the business health that you've got by putting your finger on the pulse of your business every day or every week, so you've really got an idea of the business health. Now, the way that I do this is by being out of the weeds, so I don't go and collect all the data myself. With VAs on board, they put together an incredible dashboard with all of the most important KPIs, and they'll do that for every single week. And that means that every week I can just look at this dashboard and get a great idea of the business health. So it makes a huge difference, and I'd absolutely recommend it for you as a business owner. Now that you're away from the day-to-day, you need to be focusing on understanding the business health and understanding how to grow it. Also, the next 3 things to focus on, you can now look at signing suppliers, because you're not answering customers all day. You can focus on optimizing your ads campaign or marketing, and you can focus on looking after your team. So you now don't need to be reviewing the inbox every day. You now don't need to be answering customer complaints. You can step back, and suddenly you've got all this free time, and you can actually be back in control of the business again. And this is where business starts to feel easy. So remember this, you don't scale by doing more, you scale by doing less, but better. So remember this, you need to start actively pulling yourself away from the day-to-day so that you can really focus on the tasks that are going to move the needle for your business. Now, for me, when I did this, it took me too long to hire a VA and to really systemize and outsource. But when I did it, my first VA I brought on board, I was able to triple my revenue within 2 months of bringing my first VA on board. That VA is still with me now 3 years later, and they've always run the business without me, my direct involvement, ever since. But the difference that it made when I first brought somebody on was that I was able to suddenly increase the ad spend, because I knew we would be able to handle the extra traffic, the extra customers, the extra sales that would bring. And right now you might feel like you're holding back because you don't want the extra sales, you don't want the extra customers, because you know it means more chaos and more stress and overwhelm potentially. So get the systems in place, and then it creates a solid foundation for you to scale. If you just try and scale without putting foundations in place, it will all come crumbling down. It'll lead to burnout and stress. So these are super important things to follow and put in place. So if you want this Miro board, send me a message. If you'd like to have a chat with me about implementing this and how it worked for your business and the stage of business you're at, then feel free to book a call with the first link in the description as well. But let's summarize this up for you now. And there's a quick reminder there. If you want the resources, you can have all of this details. If you want, just send me a DM on Instagram and I'll send it all over. So this is the way to reclaim your business. And here's some reminders, and here's what is on the other side of this project for you to put systems in place. You don't need to burn out to scale. In fact, if you do burn out, you're not going to scale. So it's super important that the foundations are in place. So remember this 3-step framework. We start by letting go. So we audit what's on your plate and we strip it right back. We then gain clarity. So we'll systemize your back end and we'll hire support. And then we'll level up by focusing on the growth tasks, and we'll lead the business, and we'll work on the business rather than in the business. So when you can do all this, I'm now able to run my e-commerce business in an hour a day. And this is me here in Vietnam doing just that and being able to travel the world. And that means I've got the freedom to travel and live without stress and pressure of running my business every single day. But it also means I can work on the tasks that I want to work on and focus on scaling and growing the business and managing the business health rather than managing customer by customer on a one-by-one basis. So I feel like you've got a choice here. You can either systemize your business or stay stuck running around like a hamster in a wheel, just doing day-to-day tasks and reacting. So I can help you with that if you want. Here's a reminder of how I can help you with the 2 links in the description. Either send me a message and I'll send you across the resources, or we'll have a chat and talk about how to implement this in your business. So with that said, hope you enjoyed the video today. Let me know, subscribe if you did, and I'll catch you in the next video.